Welcome to the periodic table of history. Today's study is going to be on the Gallio Inscription. This is Paul's time stamp. Italy and Greece are going to be our main focus geographically. And the primary text comes from Acts 18, verse 12 through 17. We see the name of Gallio several places. You can read through that scripture. Verse 12 says, "And when Gallio was the deputy of Achaia." And we know that Achaia is the southern Peloponnese plus a little bit more of Greece, of what we think of as Greece today. So let's fly through here. We're going to fly from west to east. And you can check out the water and the mountains in this area. We're going to visit the Delphi Archaeological Museum and the Temple to Apollo. And it's located right here. You can see this very rugged mountainous area. If you're coming from Athens to this area, you'd probably ride along this road, take a tour bus right along this road, and you would come across the Tholos Sanctuary to Athena first, and then come across this very bendy highway. And you would arrive at the museum, and you could explore that or go up to the Temple of Apollo in this area. Those are the three really big things that people look at in this area. We'll get acquainted a little bit more by zooming up. I highlighted these three artifacts so they would appear on the map. And then the two domineering ones are the museum and the Temple of Apollo. And kind of look in there, the small cars down there. If you were to go into this site, then you would be doing a lot of walking through these ancient ruins. The question I wanted to pose is, do we have archaeological evidence for Gallio? And of course we do, which is why we're doing this video. 9 fragments of a letter were found in 1905 by the archaeological leader named Alfred Leroux at the city of Delphi. And it's there at that Temple of Apollo that was highlighted on the map. The letter was from Emperor Claudius to Gallio, the governor of this region. Specifically, it says, "Lucius Junius Gallio, my friend and the proconsul of Achaia." And if you were to arrive at Delphi, this is what you would see. These are the colors. And you can see the Tholos temple there in the background. You can see the steps that you would be walking along. There is the Delphi temple. It has the Doric columns as we would expect, or what's left of them. Now I'm going to read the full letter that was extracted from this area. It says, "For a long time have I been not only well disposed towards the city of Delphi, but also solicitous for its prosperity. And I have always guarded the cult of the Pythian Apollo. But now it is said to be destitute of citizens, as Gallio, my friend and proconsul, recently reported to me. And being desirous that Delphi should retain intact its former rank, I order ye to invite well-born people also from other cities to Delphi as new inhabitants." So you can see that Delphi was going through a depopulation crisis. When there aren't enough people to live there, the city goes into disrepair. But through the eons and ages and all the cracked columns, and people will discover artifacts, and it's so fun to have that tangible evidence that we can visit and we can explain to people. So we have here our tangible evidence of the existence of Gallio, and it connects him directly to Achaia and the Emperor Claudius. And here is a supposed depiction of Claudius. So now I think we're getting a really good feel for this area. Just look at those rugged mountains that you'd have to go through. But you could imagine those Roman ships coming up and docking at the bay down here, and then making the ascent up into this area. And just across that water was the city of Corinth where Paul was. And that brings us to Acts 18:1 and 2, because this is another marker that allows us to connect Paul and Claudius by way of Aquila and Priscilla. And now we have our whole group of people here: Paul, Aquila, Priscilla, Claudius, and Gallio. Let's keep on walking along this archaeological ruin. The Delphi Sibyl was a special Sibyl, so called the Pythia. Now, in the Iliad and the Odyssey, Agamemnon is supposed to have visited this city, but the temple had not been built yet. We have much of the architecture at Delphi built in the 500s to the 400s BC. And the Tholos sanctuary of Athena was built in 370 BC. Fissures in the rock are what is thought to have let out poisonous gases that drugged the Pythia, and she would prophesy to the wayfarers. Yeah, Pythias or any Sibyls usually didn't live a long life because they were induced by drugs in some way. The earthquake has devastated this city of Delphi, and that is something that these block structures don't do very well against. So as a result, Delphi suffered for centuries from depopulation and disrepair. So we fast forward to this time of about AD 50, and we have Emperor Claudius incentivizing reinvestment in the city of Delphi. So Gallio was an ally to Claudius in this reinvestment project. So we'll peer for a second into the periodic table of history and note the time of Emperor Claudius. It's from AD 41 to AD 54, as we zoom in and we can see here. Gallio was the governor of southern Greece, Achaia, in AD 51. If we fast forward to AD 56, Gallio was also elected to the Roman consul in the Roman Republic. So he was moving up in the world. Gallio had a famous brother named Seneca, and Seneca was a famous playwright and showed the connection of Gallio to the theater. And you can see that even here in Delphi, there is a theater above the Temple of Apollo when we fly over this area, or walk in this area. And here's a little bit more of this temple as we walk around. Well, just enjoy the sunshine and imagine that you're here, because this is an exact place that a person can visit. Enjoy the rocks, enjoy the architecture. In thinking about the theater here at Delphi, Gallio was the master of ceremony to start out many of the Roman theatrical performances. He opened the show for Nero on several occasions. Nero became emperor of Rome AD 54 to AD 68. We hear about him a lot in Christianity because of the contact with Paul. Nero visited Delphi in AD 67, and that's the same year of Paul's death. So we'll fly over here one last time, and now we are well acquainted with this area. And what we'll do is we'll walk through the museum and find the original inscription. And when you finish off going through the archaeological museum at Delphi, you see these busts on the left side of the wall, and then you see the 9 tablets that are the Gallio Inscription. They're cemented together in this square pyramid, and they are extant for us to study even today. And that is the evidence that connects Gallio with Claudius. And then, of course, we have Paul connected to Gallio and Paul connected to Claudius in the Bible. So we put our faith in Jesus Christ, and then when we come across people that don't believe in Jesus Christ, we have more and more volumes of evidence that we can show them to show that the pages of the Bible are real. And then we can get to the part of Scripture that matters, and that's Jesus Christ. And we can live in this state of Christianity where we love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and where we love our neighbor as ourself. So we'll finish off here in the Tholos. Most people end up taking a photograph or two of this structure, and it's usually found all over National Geographic or any place that talks about Greece. It's probably one of the top sites in Greece. We need not worship demons or humans or heroes. We just need to fill our life with the love of Jesus Christ and love our neighbor as ourselves. And I think of the scripture that Paul said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and rulers in high places. Pray for our rulers, pray for our enemies, pray for our neighbors. And hopefully this allows us to understand the life of Paul and the geography that he went through and the state of the area that Paul visited. And let the ruins of Delphi be a reminder to us to help our neighbor every single day. Hope you have a good week. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.